Town of Fools. Many, many years ago, a strange man suddenly appeared in a quiet little village. He caused quite a stir, as he didn't get many visitors. The stranger offered to entertain everyone with some wonderful tricks, if the villagers paid him just a couple of pennies each. To show off his powers, he ate some straw and began to pull yards and yards of ribbon from out of his throat. The people couldn't believe what they were seeing, and they quickly parted with their money, eager to see what he was going to do next. The stranger took out a small cockerel from a cage. Then, with great ceremony, he harnessed it to the biggest log of wood that lay in the field nearby. The man said a few words to the cockerel, and then, to everyone's amazement, it began to pull the log down the lane. The crowd gasped. A tree that big should take at least 2 oxen to pull, yet this tiny wee bird could carry the load as if it were light as a feather. The cockerel picked up speed and ran around the town with the great timber following behind. Men, women and children followed behind it, laughing and clapping at such an amazing sight. As the crowd reached the edge of town, it passed a man with a bundle of fresh grass on his back. He stared at them, scratching his head. He couldn't understand why the whole village was following a bird with a single straw attached to its back. "What in the world's going on?" he said. "For goodness sake," said the people, "what kind of an idiot are you? Can't you see we're following this amazing bird? Have you ever seen anything so tiny pull a load so heavy? I mean, even a horse couldn't do it." "What in the world are you havering about?" said the man, who was now even more confused. "All I can see is a cockerel dragging a wee straw behind it. There's nothing special about that." The trickster who owned the cockerel heard the conversation and quickly said, "Ah, I see you're selling some fresh grass. I'd love to buy it off you." The man had collected the grass for himself and he didn't want to sell it, but the stranger was very, very insistent. He offered such a ridiculous price that the man eventually gave in. As soon as the stranger had the grass in his hands, he promptly tossed it straight into the nearby river. The man was about to say, "What did you do that for?" but stopped right in his tracks, as he could now see a cockerel heading down the road with a massive timber trailing behind. He was now as big a fool as the rest and ran happily with them behind the birds. That evening he was having a quiet drink with a friend, and he told him the whole story. He ended with, "I'm no kidding you," he said. "There was this wee bird pulling the biggest log you've ever seen. The funny thing is, just for a minute my head must have been away with the clouds, as I thought the log looked like a straw. Can you imagine that?" His friend looked at him and said, "Off, you're an idiot. There must have been a 4-leaf clover in your bundle of grass. It was protecting you from the stranger's spell, and when you parted with it, you became as big a fool as the rest." And you may ask if there's a moral to this tale, to which I say, sometimes, just sometimes, things are actually what they seem at first.